Hello and welcome back to my channel and this series about glow effects. In the last episodes, we took already normal WinForms buttons, labels and panels, and turned them into glowing, reactive UI elements. Now it's time to do the same with something most people need in their tools. In this episode, we're upgrading WinForms TextBoxes step by step, using the exact same glow system we built in part 1. No new setup, no chaos, just open your existing project and plug the new effects right in. If you missed part 1, the link's in the description. That's where the glow effect base and the entire structure of this series comes from. Alright, let's jump in. So far, we've created glowing buttons, rainbow and pulsing labels, and neon panels. But your forms still have plain text boxes. Today, we're giving them also some effects. So your input fields look just as futuristic as the rest of your UI. It's smooth, animated, and fully reusable in .NET 10 WinForms. For this we use our already existing project with all the base structure. We just need another folder for our new effects. Let's call it TextBoxes. Inside we create the class for our first effect. neoninnerglow.cs. So like in the other parts. I code first and explain after it. Feel free to code together with me. This effect is called neon inner glow, and unlike most glow effects, this one doesn't sit outside the control. The glow lives inside the text box. Like it pays rent there. Important thing first, we are not creating a custom text box. This is still a normal WinForms text box. We're just decorating it aggressively. At the top of the class, we set up the animation. Pulse time is basically the heartbeat of the glow. Glow color controls the neon color. Pulse speed controls how fast it breathes. Glow thickness defines how chunky the glow is. Text color controls the actual text color. Everything is configurable, because hard-coded values are the enemy of happiness. Now let's attach the effect. First thing we do, remove the default border. That border is ugly and it knows it. Then we set a dark background color. Neon on white looks wrong. Neon on black looks expensive. We also add padding so the text doesn't hug the glow like it's afraid of being alone. And whenever the text changes or the control resizes, we force a redraw. Because stale visuals are illegal in this series. Now the glow magic. We enable anti-aliasing so nothing looks crunchy. Then we calculate the glow intensity using a sine wave. This gives us a smooth pulse, not blinking, not flashing, just gently breathing. We draw a rectangle inside the text box using an inset pen. That's the inner glow frame. But wait, we're not done. If there's text inside the text box, we redraw it manually using a graphics path. Because WinForms text rendering alone is boring. We draw the text multiple times with tiny offsets. This creates a soft glow behind the letters. Then we draw the real text on top. Crisp text, glowing edges. Finally, the animation. Every paint cycle, pulse time increases. The glow recalculates. The text box redraws. No timers. No hacks. Just clean, controlled animation. And that's the key idea here. We didn't fight WinForms. We didn't replace it. We just upgraded its outfit. This text box still behaves like a text box, it just looks like it belongs in 2026. Now let's actually use the inner glow. Open the WinForms designer and drag a text box onto the form. Adjust the size so it's not too small, set a nicer font, maybe center the text alignment, just basic setup so it looks clean. Then set the name to TB_neon inner glow. I always use prefixes for controls, so in this case TB_ for text boxes, it keeps things readable, especially in bigger layouts and tools. Once that's done, switch to the code section. Here we create a new neon inner glow instance. We set the glow color to deep sky blue, pulse speed to 0.06, glow thickness to 4, and the text color to yellow. Then we simply attach the effect to our text box. That's it. No custom control, no broken input, no WinForms drama. Now before the glow actually looks good and performs well, there is one very important thing we have to do inside the attach method. WinForms controls like TextBox were never designed to be custom painted every frame. So by default, Windows is still doing part of the painting for us, and that causes flickering, tearing, or the glow not showing up at all. That's why we manually enable specific control styles. What we do here is this. We combine three important control styles. User paint tells WinForms. I will take full control over how this control is painted. All painting in William Paint tells Windows. Do all painting in one single pass. This avoids background clearing between frames. And optimize double buffer enables double buffering, meaning everything is first drawn off screen and then rendered in one smooth step. Together, these three flags are what make animations smooth and flicker-free. Now normally, set style is a protected method, so we can't call it directly on a text box. That's why we use reflection. We access the non-public set style method on the base control class and invoke it manually. This effectively forces the text box into a modern, animation-friendly rendering mode. Without this step, the glow either won't render correctly or it will flicker badly. So this line is not optional, it's the foundation that makes the glow effect actually work. Next, let's talk about the caret. That blinking text cursor inside the text box. By default, Windows draws the caret itself. And when we start custom painting and animating glows, the caret often looks wrong. It can appear too small, misaligned, or visually clash with the neon style. So what we do is simple but very effective. We listen to the got focus event of the text box. As soon as the control receives focus, we call hide caret and pass in the handle of the text box. Hide caret is a native Windows API function from user32.dll. It tells Windows, stop drawing the caret for this control. That's it. The text box still works perfectly. You can type, select text, use the keyboard, everything stays functional. But visually, the blinking cursor is gone. This instantly makes the control feel cleaner, more modern, and more intentional, especially for neon or cyber style UI. So in summary, the control styles fix rendering and animation. The caret hiding fixes visual polish. Together, these two small additions turn a normal WinForms text box into something that actually feels modern and styled, without breaking functionality. That's the difference between a hacky glow and a production-ready effect. So if we take a look at our new TextBox class, you'll notice something important. There are actually only a few changes needed to create a completely different effect. And that's intentional. This is exactly how this whole series works. So instead of starting from scratch, we simply copy the existing class and rename it. In this case, we copy the inner glow TextBox class and rename it to neon outer glow. And don't forget, we also rename the class name itself inside the file. Once that's done, we already have a fully working effect, just with a different name. Now comes the interesting part. To create a new visual style, we don't touch most of the code at all. The base logic stays exactly the same: the animation timer, the paint handling, the style setup, and the caret handling. All of that remains untouched. What we do instead is add 3 new variables to the class. These variables define how the new glow behaves. Everything else can stay as it is. The only real change happens inside the draw method. Instead of drawing an inner glow, we now draw the glow on the outside of the text box. That single change is enough to create a completely new effect. And this is the core idea of the entire series. You don't need to reinvent everything. You take a working base, duplicate it, rename it, and then experiment inside the drawing logic. Change the math. Change the alpha. Change where and how the glow is drawn. That's how you build your own effects. So now let's actually change the draw method, and after that, I'll walk you through the class step by step so you understand exactly what's happening and why. And from here on, you can create whatever style you like, all using the same structure. This new Neon Outer Glow class is directly based on the Neon Inner Glow class. We didn't redesign everything, we reused what already works. Most of the structure stays exactly the same: the animation logic, the attach logic, the caret handling, and the paint cycle. The real change happens in 3 areas. First, we added a few new properties. We now have settings that control the glow behavior, and additional settings that control how the text itself pulses. That allows us to animate the text independently from the glow. Second, the glow drawing logic changed. In the inner glow version, the rectangle is shrunk inward and the pen alignment is set to inset. For the outer glow, we do the opposite. We inflate the rectangle outward and use pen alignment outset. That single change moves the glow from inside the text box to the outside, creating a completely different visual effect. Third, The text rendering is simplified. Instead of drawing multiple offset shadows, we render the text once using a graphics path, and optionally pulse its alpha value over time. Everything else stays untouched. Now let's actually use our new outer glow effect. First, add a normal text box to the form using the WinForms designer. Adjust the size, font, and text alignment however you like, and then give it a clear name. Once the text box is on the form, we switch to code. Here we create a new instance of the Neon Outer Glow class. We define the glow color, the glow thickness, and how fast the pulse animation runs. We also set the text color and enable text pulsing for a more dynamic look. After that, we simply attach the effect of the text box. That's it. No subclassing. No custom control. Just attach and go. Now run the application, focus the text box, and start typing. You'll see the outer neon glow animating smoothly around the control, with clean text rendering and no blinking caret. This is exactly how every effect in this series is meant to be used. Drop in a standard control, attach an effect, and instantly upgrade the UI. Now let's take this one step further. To create the next effect, we don't start from zero. We simply copy the Neon Outer Glow class and paste it as a new class. After that, we rename it to Rainbow Glow. And of course, we also rename the class name itself inside the file. At this point, nothing is broken. We still have a fully working glow effect. Now we start shaping it into something new. Instead of a fixed glow color, we introduce a new variable called hue. This value will continuously rotate through the color spectrum. Because of that, we no longer need a glow color property. The color is now calculated dynamically. For that, we reuse something we already built earlier in this series. The color from hue method is copied directly from the rainbow glow label class from a previous video. No changes needed. This is important. Everything fits together because we are building on a shared foundation. Nothing is random. Nothing is duplicated without reason. Inside the draw method, the logic changes again. We no longer draw a rectangle glow. Instead, we render the text itself using a graphics path, and fill it with a linear gradient. The gradient is created from two colors, one from the current hue, and one from the opposite side of the color wheel. That's what creates the animated rainbow effect. In the onPaint method, we simply increase the hue value on every frame and wrap it back to 0 once it reaches 360. The pulse animation stays exactly the same. So once again, most of the class stays untouched. We only change what defines the visual style. Now let's test our new rainbow glow effect. First, go back to the WinForms designer and add another standard text box to the form. Adjust the size, font, and alignment, and then give it a clear name. In this case, I'll call it TB_rainbow glow. Once that's done, we switch to the code. Here we create a new instance of the rainbow glow class. There is some issue regarding the name from the class, because we have already the same class name for our labels. But no problem, just set the class together with the full namespace and it's working again. And that also for the old labels rainbow class. That is the idea behind the folder structure, everything is clear and ready to use. Now start the application. We define the glow thickness, the pulse speed, the text color, and whether the text should pulse or not. After that, we attach the effect to the text box, exactly the same way as with all the other glow effects. No special handling. No custom control. Just attach and run. As soon as the text box is rendered, you'll see the text animated with a smooth, flowing rainbow gradient. The colors rotate continuously, the animation stays clean, and the caret is hidden for a modern, polished look. And the best part is, this is not a one-off effect. This brings us to the end of part 5 of the series. At this point, you've seen how to create inner glows, outer glows, and fully animated rainbow text effects, all using the same base structure. We didn't rewrite everything. We reused code. We reused logic. And we reused ideas from earlier videos in the series. That's the real takeaway. Once you understand the pattern, you're no longer just following tutorials. You can mix effects. You can combine ideas. You can invent your own glow styles by changing only a few lines in the draw logic. And this is just the beginning. If you have ideas for new effects, questions about how any of this works, or if you want to push these glow effects even further, drop a comment below. Tell me what you want to build next. We can turn your ideas into the next part of the series and build it together, step by step. So stay tuned, experiment with the code, break things, tweak things, invent something new. And most importantly, don't forget to have fun while coding.